Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Around the Flock. Many of you have wondered where have you and or TD been? Well, me personally, I have been. The show had taken a unfortunately unscheduled hiatus, mainly due to some. There's been some schedule conflicts and um, homework life balance ordeals. Um, I had, for those of you who don't know, I had just recently came back from vacation earlier this week slash this last weekend, and we are ready to get back to the grind. TD is currently celebrating his honeymoon with his wife over in Sicily. So big happy or huge happiness and kudos to them for enjoying that. They are taking a late honeymoon but I am currently jealous of them, even though me and my wife and my set of my in-laws had just went to Florida. Much needed relaxing time off. TD, I hope you enjoy yours. Anyways, let's get on to the Ravens content, Ravens news. As we all know, since the last time we had our show, we are waiting on the release of the our official schedule. Now we've all seen it. We've all heard the reactions from various Ravens new or media heads from all across the pond. You all have done a phenomenal job at breaking it down bit by bit. Huge applause to you guys. I love shouting out various other Ravens podcasts and live shows, so on and so forth. Everyone does a phenomenal job. Now, and Lamar has signed his contract. We've gotten OBJ, so on and so forth. Let's get into the meat and taters of the business. OTAs are still in full force. We are coming up to mandatory minicamp here soon. So, what does that exactly mean? We're currently in a vamp up period, as some of the folks in the organization and across the league call it. Coach Todd Monken is currently implementing and getting his guys acclimated to his playbook and his way of doing things as far as on the offensive side. Defensive side, with some of the coaching changes out, like Dr. Rush, as some of them like to call him, Coach Chuck Smith, he is doing a phenomenal job with the outside, with the edge rushers. But as far as and we'll get to some of the defensive side of the ball, but everyone wants to talk about how the offense is making so much progress. Obviously, we know about the revamped wide receiver room and Lamar, Tyler Huntley, all these young guys are loving what Coach Monken's doing with this new offense. They're all so excited for it, and it's going to be awesome to see how things proceed or progress forward. I know that based off all these videos, the final drive off the Baltimore Ravens media, they have done a phenomenal job as well, giving us a rundown on what's going on at these practices. We can really see the excitement in our offensive coordinator's face and how he presents himself, along with how these players are acclimating to it and how they're functioning, their body language. You can obviously tell that they are vested in learning this new offense and just excited to get things moving forward. I know I am. We saw the little snippet clip of where Lamar was just had some really good motions, threw the ball really well, and Coach Monken went up to him, gave him a big old high five, and was super excited that he was moving so tremendously. We can Mark Andrews has even made some comments that he feels in the best shape of his life and that he is super excited for this new offense that they're rolling in and that so many guys are into it. There was a questionable comment about Lamar Jackson and how and the footballs being thrown all across and getting it to him. That made me do a double take. I'm pretty sure it made the whole entire league's fan bases and the whole entire league do a double take. But hey, everyone has said some weird stuff throughout their entire lifetime. I know will continue to do it because that's just who I am as a person. But yeah. But some of these standout guys who I've seen so far are, the normal ones that we would all expect. But on when I'm talking about the offense, in this wide receiver group, we all know how we've been kind of skeptical about Nelson Aguilar and how he's going to be turning out and going from there. Me personally, I think he's been doing really well. Acclimate or getting into this new style offense. I've said that a lot. I'm going to continue to say it, but building that chemistry with Lamar and just taking this as a fresh start, because I've said it time in, time out on this show before. A player who is not having so much good career or is getting older and needs a career bounce back, the Ravens are that team to go to. They will get you back in where you want to be. And with this, how Coach Monken's got things going, how Lamar's getting things going, there is no reason why this man shouldn't have a solid wide receiver 3 year, if not wide receiver 4. I'm, or it could be where everything is just spread out evenly. He gets some of the cake. OBJ is going to get some of the cake. Bateman's going to get a piece. Duvernay is going to get a piece. I think even maybe if Tylan Wallace has a breakout year, he's going to get a piece of it. My boy Charlie Kohler, he is showing out as well with that tight end group. I hope he fixed the mustache ordeal, but going to take it as it is. With the running back group, I'm still kind of a little questionable. Obviously, we're still waiting on Gus Edwards to return from his injury setback. He should be back by time training camp hits, but we'll see what happens. Coach Harbaugh said in one of the pressers that there was no setbacks for his return, but we just got to take it one step at a time. J.K. Dobbins had sent out kind of a cryptic tweet or set of tweets, and that was a little concerning considering we know that this offense is going to be obvious. We're going to see a increase with the passing attack, but with the run game, I don't see why he should be concerned because his offense at Georgia was fairly balanced. I think he was ranked 14th overall in the run game in college football. He was ranked, I'm pretty sure it was in the top 10 or top 3 at Georgia for passing attack, but still, it's going to be a fairly balanced offense overall with both sides. Coach Monken, I'm pretty sure, utilizes what he has and plays his player to his players' strengths. You got one of the best tight ends in the league. You got a dynamic duo, sometimes trio, when Justice Hill does his thing. I believe he's going to have a breakout year finally. He's been a key contributor on special teams and a nice little, I would say, dagger, if you want to use a weaponry analogy, or that little wrench that you need when you're on a very detailed job that requires a couple smaller screws or bolts, but he does the job and fills in when needed. But we're going to see a kind of shift from the run first priority to a balance. And that balance is going to be fun to watch. Patrick Ricard also kind of took a little bit of his thoughts with, or probably about a month ago on it, but he's going to be utilized as well. Someone point recent, I think it was either last week or could have been earlier this week, sometime last week, or maybe even the week before. I saw someone tweet out where Patrick Ricard is one of the best tight end wings or blocking tight end or wings that we have, and they are correct. If they want to move him over to the tight end position, or officially move him into the tight end room, or just keep him as both in both rooms, that would be awesome. I could see him doing it. Honestly, I can. But this offense that we're about to see is completely unpredictable. We're going to see it unfold truly. And we're all excited for it. As far as the offensive line, it's pretty much going to stay the same. As long as everyone stays healthy, we'll be golden. The only thing is lining up the left guard position and finding out who's going to be starting there. Outside of that, everything else is the same. OTAs is a fun time because we get to see everyone give it their all, including those camp bodies. And speaking of camp bodies, as we all saw recently, the Ravens have signed wide receiver Laquan Treadwell, who has seen time with both the Vikings and the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're excited to see how things unfold with him. Judging by the questions that I have asked earlier, or earlier this week, he is a solid camp body. There's a chance he could beat out some of the young guys we've already have in house for a wide receiver 5 or 6 spot. He became one of Trevor Lawrence's go-to guys there sometime in the season. And we love to see it because with this revamped wide receiver room, can always use extra bodies. There is still rumors going around with the whole D-Hop sweepstakes. Will the Ravens win it? We'll see. We won't know till it actually happens. If we do see something happen, I'm not going to argue. If this team goes out and gets D-Hop after he makes his trip to, I think he's going to Buffalo next Depending on how that turns out, the Ravens could go ahead and pursue him. I don't think they will, but if it's on the table, obviously I'm here for it. I'm not even going to lie. That just adds to that passing attack. Just thinking about it makes my mouth drool. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, let's go ahead and try to move away from the offense because that's what everyone is currently focused on. What this exciting offense is going to be. On the defensive side of the ball, we all know that the highlights have been Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton becoming the next best safety duo in the league. There is no reason why I can't see that happening. And also, Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith being the next best linebacker duo, even though I think Patrick Queen's going to use that, not taking his 5th-year option, using it as a chip on the shoulder. Like, hey, I'm going to earn my right to stay here. I'm going to earn my long-term deal. Do I think they utilize Trenton Simpson a little bit more with that and a rotation for him? Possibly. But going back to the Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Williams, since the departure of Chuck Clark via trade happened, we're going to see Kyle Hamilton more in a strong safety spot. Marcus Williams is a ball hawk of a safety. He can read read those offenses like no other. We saw the impact he made pretty much the whole time he was on the field. When he was away from it via injury, we saw and felt the impacts of him not being there. We got to know not to take these guys for granted when they are there and when they're healthy. Sometimes players will slip up and allow a big play or two, but we want to try to know that these guys are doing everything they can and to the best of their ability and to prevent those big plays. We'll see less of them because these guys are they're constantly learning. They're, as Coach Harbaugh said, becoming students of the game. Kyle Hamilton has been learning a lot from Marcus Williams. So we could see them run more of a ball hawk with both of them. Could see Kyle Hamilton transition to more of a strong safety. And if we take a look at history as well, what safety won player or defense? I think it was defensive player of the year outside as a strong safety outside of his position. That's right, Ed Reed. Now we want to for a lot of old heads or mid heads. We want to make those comparisons. We don't want to make those comparisons because Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, they were generational talents. They were the best at best at what they did. But going forward, having that foundation, we can look back and remember that stuff, but we also got to look at how things are evolving, how the game is evolving. And having Marcus Williams, having Kyle Hamilton, these guys are our new age version of some of our safety tandems from before. For our linebacker group, Roquan Smith is our new Ray Lewis. Number 0. The guy had to take charge with the new chapter 0 start or thing going on. Patrick Queen is going to be the guy who he's got next to him, whether it be a new version of, I don't know, Bart. Let's take Bart Scott or Brandon Indahibio. I just messed that name up so bad. Um, but any of the guys that were next to Ray Lewis and still made a huge impact. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but damn, I think these guys are going to do a phenomenal job moving forward with this defense. We don't have Calais Campbell anymore, but these young guys are making progress going forward with Travis Jones, Broderick Washington, Justin Matabike, you name it. Now, overall, I'm super excited with this team's about to be doing. Prediction wise, I think going to the schedule or looking at the schedule and looking at what we're seeing so far, even though it's just OTAs, there is no reason why this team can't take number one in the division. Worst case scenario, they take two, or they could be co-champions with, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and say it. There is a high probability that this team, this Baltimore 2023 Baltimore Ravens, could tie with the 2023 Cincinnati Bengals. The Pittsburgh Steelers are probably going to make a tight run for third, or a they'll probably get the third position or third in the division, but they'll make tight push for second. Um, oh, I forgot special teams. How could I? Considering my favorite Raven is our kicker. Um, my understanding, Jordan Stout is continuously improving. He had a kind of rough or average rookie season, but you guys have to understand that we have been spoiled with Sam Cook for like 15, 16, 17 years. Sam Cook laid a foundation for us. Uh, Jordan Stout is doing the best he can to fill in those spots or fill in those shoes, whatever you want to call it, and go forward with it. But we're gonna see things go forward. Now, going on from my normal rambles and raves, because we're just here having fun discussing things. I made this show public, so anyone that wants to join, feel free to join in. You can follow the link on my Facebook, on my Twitter. Go ahead and hop on in if you like. But this team is super fun to watch. The Bengals are probably going to be the number one enemy as far as the divisional race goes. Steelers Ravens is always going to be fun no matter what. Browns Ravens, that's going to be a tough one, and with that whole Browns original Browns history, rivalry, whatever you want to call it, that's going to be tough as well. All divisional games are going to be tough. But just the early on in the year, summer hype, post draft hype, whatever you want to call it, got us all feeling some type of way. Now, or I'd also like to take a moment to recognize or remember the gentleman by the name of Chuck. I know it's been a couple weeks since his passing. But everyone, remember to check in on your people. His Twitter handle was at Purple Rain Era on Twitter. So remember to check on your friends, check on your families, call a loved one, tell them you love them, and just do a periodic mental health check in. Love you, Ravens flock. But back on team rambles and reactions. I think I'm gonna give two way too early MVPs of the season. And anyone can clip this. Anyone can do what you all want with it. But my two way too early MVPs for both offense and defense. First one is going to be Lamar Jackson, fresh off a extension, going to be returning to his MVP year or status. And on defense, the man I was hyping up all or almost all show, Kyle Hamilton. I would go with an offensive lineman, defensive lineman, or an edge rusher. I'm going our quarterback and our year two safety. Do with that info as you must, but we'll see what happens. We are coming close to our half an hour mark, and since, as you all know, most of this off season, we've ran on a more half an hour time frame. So let's get ready to wrap up after this quick thought that the AFC North is going to be brutal. As always, the AFC North is going to probably be another bloodbath, especially since the Pittsburgh is finally revitalizing themselves. Browns will always be a dumpster fire, and at least in my personal opinion, Bengals are still staying on top of things. So it's going to be fun to watch in this entire season. And now, in the final 2 minutes, I am going to do my usual plugs. As you know, follow me on my personal page or Twitter page, TikTok, Instagram at BTMyers _. You can always follow me over on Facebook at Brandon T. Myers. Feel free to also go follow our Ravens ATB Twitter page. That's where most of our live shows go live. And also follow us on YouTube, Twitch. I wasn't able to go live over on Facebook on our ATB Facebook page because I don't have the password for that and I cannot reconnect at this time, but we'll get that addressed at a later time. And also, this is a little bit of a personal plug, but if you haven't seen about almost a month now, about a month ago, I got selected to be a Bucked Up brand ambassador for those of you in the fitness community. I can get you you can utilize my personal 20% off code to get 20% off your order on Bucked Up, BUCKEDUP.com. Get 20% off your order, whether that be pre-workout or protein or some of the apparel. I'd love to share these discounts and deals with you guys. So there's a kind of a personal plug / announcement if you haven't already seen. But that's all I pretty much have for you guys tonight. Don't forget to follow everything around the block. We've got some awesome reactions, awesome content. One of the most recent ones that I've been on was the Creamsicle Chronicle with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers folks back right before the draft had started. So go follow everything around the block if you haven't already. But that's all for me tonight, and I hope you all have a fantastic evening.